even look. I don't know what the something is. He's clickbaiting me as well. Next letter for the producer is being announced. It's Friday, September 17th. So put that in your calendar. There is the Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 15 collab, where you get the Regalia type G4-seater mount, costume as well. So some cool stuff there. Square Enix going to be at the Tokyo Game Show on October 3rd.
That's gonna be so fucking big.
On Sunday, featuring a stroll with Yoshi-P, where producer and director Naoki Yoshida will be taking a leisurely trip to a random world in Final Fantasy 14. So there'll be some cool little things there.
Yeah, no,
and then the most recent Tales from the Twilight is out as well. And additionally, actions have been taken against in-game RMT and other illicit activities, which is fun because it's almost as if in-game RMT in grey markets has been something you've been investigating for 2 weeks now.
Thanks to everyone who's reached out and contacted me. I really appreciate it. It's meant that, I intended to have the content finished this week for it to be, live in the next couple of weeks. It was delayed slightly. So, but yeah, no, thanks everyone for reaching out and telling me about your experiences with boosting, no matter where you lie on the spectrum, because that and RMT is certainly going to be a very, very interesting bit of content. Please look forward to it. I don't want to spoil any takeaways, but it's a very, very complicated situation and a very, how do I put this? Very important to some people.
Yeah, it's been fascinating. Like every few days, like you give me a quick update and like the, some recent conversation you had or some new finding or something, and it's just cool to have like numbers and perspectives that are a little bit more informed on an issue that people are generally aware of, but don't exactly know how it works. I'll definitely give the boosting community some credit. Like between the Galliwix, which of course isn't a thing anymore, but even the new ones, like the way that they've got, the assignment of like almost staff boosters or whatever. It's like they're running their own boosting Uber with all of these like Discord bots assigning people and doing things. Say what you want about boosting as a thing, but there's just a sidebar. There is just a little thing of human ingenuity that I very much respect and I think is very cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that's most difficult about preparing the content, is because I initially went in with my conceptions and the kind of what I thought I was going to be saying, and then I spoke to people, and then I was like, oh, hang on, okay. There's a whole bunch of perspectives I hadn't considered going into this that now I've been made aware of, and I can, talk about that in interesting ways. But the comparison to Uber is something I, directly have in the script, because it is very much a case of, that's why it's getting, at least visually, so much more prevalent, is because the people running and setting up and working for these boosting communities are genuinely doing a wonderful job of making the experience great. And that's it. That may be a problem.
They have to have good customer service.
Yeah.
Because they need the repeat customers.
Yeah.
So they actually have an incentive to make their boosting community run like fucking butter.
Yep, it is.
And yeah, like it might be in some ways not great for the game and maybe other ways okay, whatever. That's something we'll dive into in the video. But there is just that thing of like, you look at the operation and it's like, fair play. Hats off to you. You've made your Discord bots and all your systems and your setups, and it's pretty fucking impressive. I mean, how do you manage anything that requires that many people?
Well, apparently they found a way to do it.
Yeah, I just think that's, that, no matter what way we go, it's just cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
hard. I guess it's that thing. It is a hard problem to do that, especially when you're dealing with Blizzard's framework. But between Discord bots and whatever else they do, they found a solution, and it's always interesting when people find a solution to a hard problem.
Yep.
So, I guess the final thing, this video, Odin is the absolute worst. Just to recap our videos for the week, barely anyone's watched this, which is very sad because I think it's a real banger video. John put so much blood, sweat, and tears into loads of cool custom scenes. I'm a bit sad that it's not done super well, and I know a part of that's because, like, Odin's, he was in 9.1, but he's not the most, in vogue character, right? But Odin's an absolute cock, and it's just fun when you kind of lay it out and go through it, and John he had a lot of fun, did cool things with that edit. So, yeah, if you want something to watch after for Warcraft, there's the Odin video. We did cut down our WoW schedule just this week and next week because one of our guys is off for a bit, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're trying to do things right. Over the news channel, though, lots of things. This was a fun one because Star Citizen is a hot topic. Very interesting to me. I mean, actually not as bad in the dislikes as it used to be. But this is an interesting one because there's a lot of people who I would say have an outdated... I mean, they have a perspective in Star Citizen that I would agree with. Were we still in the phase of early alpha or when it was the hangar module? But the game is a very different beast now. I think most people just aren't aware of that. But it is an interesting thing where, yeah, Star Citizen got under fire. The UK's ASA, Advertising Standards Agency or whatever, got a little bit involved, but not as bad as it initially looks when, and that's why, in the title have the, is this even fair? Because all the Star Citizen people will have actually been not totally fine, but they will have known what concept ship means because it's literally been like that for the whole thing. But just an interesting thing. Then there was the whole killing floor situation, which we certainly, it was interesting. I think we tried to make this be a very bounded video, specifically in the issue of man tweeting controversial opinion. What does that mean when you're the CEO of a company? How do you stick to your own personal truth and, I guess live in a way where you can have self-respect, that you are standing by your own beliefs, but then also how does that mesh with the broader responsibility of, running a company? But of course, this is all about, his tweet is about the Texas abortion law, which obviously meant that, come on, it's talking about abortion on the internet. It's going to be we basically don't say anything about that, but let's just say it was a hot topic issue.
Yeah, it's not our place to, is it?
Yeah, no, it's out of scope for game industry news, and we try to keep things, decently in bounds because, our opinions shouldn't really massively matter because we should be trying to cover the story objectively.
Yeah.
I would say. Then Sony, all of Sony's fun with Horizon Forbidden West, and they got caught out trying to basically upcharge everyone $20. Now they're only being upcharged $10, and at least it's a bit more clear and a policy position has been set. Then, very interesting one with gambling in games, basically a blanket gambling thing of 18 plus for Peggy, but there's a lot of nuance in it, and it looks good on the surface, but it might actually be damaging to games and miss out on what people actually take issue with when it comes to problem gambling-like behavior / gambling in video games. It usually pertains to loot boxes and the like. So, your Hearthstone, your FIFA Ultimate Team, that kind of thing. No Man's Sky. Nice little break to some fucking good news. No Man's Sky continues to be pretty fucking awesome with how they stick with it. The game's actually now reached mostly positive overall on Steam, which is quite a feat considering how many very negative reviews they definitely deserved from their launch. Then also CD Projekt Red, making a very big commitment in terms of development staff for the repair of Cyberpunk 2077, as well as the new expansion that they're working on. So that was all pretty cool to get into. And the Mario conspiracy. If you want 40 minutes of Matt leading me through fraud in the classic, in the game collection community, alleged fraud anyway, but it seems all very sus, then that's a fun one. I was kind of like sitting there just be like, holy shit, it gets deeper and deeper. And the History Channel show Pawn Stars is even involved. Because of course, when you think about the History Channel, a pawn shop is obviously the first thing that comes to your mind.
I think that's just kind of the problem with the History Channel at the minute anyway.
Yeah. And then this is another one where I got myself into a little bit of hot water because I said, you know what? If you play a 2-hour long game or a 90-minute long game, enjoy it and then refund it because the Steam rules let you to, then fuck you. You're not willing to provide value in return for value. Get out of get out of games. We don't want you as a customer, which I do think. I really do think that if you're just going to, abuse the Steam refund system to get the product and then just get all your money back, that's not how any form of functioning economy works. That's just ridiculous, entitled, selfish behavior. And it was weird. I saw a lot of comments on that video. They're like, yeah, but games, AAA doesn't treat us right with unfair monetization practices. I was like, yeah, I agree with you. Why are you punishing a random indie dev for that? And there's also the issue there too with this where, if Steam has this big systemic issue, it de-incentivizes the creation of shorter games. And you might say, well, I want good value for money with my games or whatever. And then I'd say to you, well, in the form of not interactive media that we watch on a television, you've got TV shows that are long, you've got movies that are short. Some stories are best told as a TV show. Other stories are best told as a movie. So you don't want to create a big disincentive to, against short stuff, because what if somebody has actually got a short story that's perfect for an interactive medium, but they then feel like they've got to unnecessarily pad it out to, sort of play against rules or something like that, or, a situation where they do just, do it perfectly, and then they get what some devs have reported, which is like a 25% refund rate. And that specifically is me talking about games with an overall, like, very positive review. Like, this game in question had a 90% positive review and, reportedly a pretty high refund ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So, all interesting stuff. And certainly I'm noticing that as we just do what I think we think are reasonable opinions on a few of the, we're definitely getting a fair bit of pushback, which, is cool and interesting. I will listen and learn where appropriate, but overall, I'm not going to, we're not going to do the thing of just, always like actively tracking what the popular opinion is and then just following it, because, you're just going to be depressed if you do that shit. You're not going to be a real person. You're just going to be this like bizarre opinion following spouting machine. And I think whenever people see like, the mainstream media and they sort of think, ugh, get away, big news channel. That's why.
Yeah.
So yeah, all fun there. Lots of stuff in the news channel.
I mean, that's one of the things. One of the things we always set out to do in the news channel was to be as authentic as possible. To be, it just happens that a lot of our authentic opinions does line up with a certain subset of people. But it's interesting that we will just say what as close to the truth as is humanly possible that we're aware of.
Yeah,
as far
as
stories, and then give our opinions on them.
Just no other way to do it.
Yep.
So, that's it in content. Actually, on the news channel, I'm pretty sure we've got videos queued up till Sunday. So, there's no WoW content until next Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday. But there is news content through to Sunday. We might have a blip in Monday, and then news back in Tuesday.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of content coming out, and that doesn't even include all the video game stuff that's going on. Will be talked about decently soon, and all the associated YouTube content that I really do want to have going along with that as well, and then all of our longer term WoW plans. Because it's the boosting video is fun. We don't know if that'll be a 2-parter yet.
I'm
thinking 1-parter.
I'm definitely thinking 2-parter.
2-parter, okay.
It'll
cool.
be difficult to split up in a way that's satisfying, because I want to lead with the stuff that's, lead with the interesting stuff. But there's also a lot of, I think, background information that is important for people to have, but also very, very good to discuss at the same time. So I would, if it is going to be a 2-parter, it would very much be a 2-parter. I would suspect, instead of being 30 to 40 minutes one video, it would be like 2 20-minute videos back to back, maybe one day after the other, something like that. I'm just kind of thinking because
well, even from the production perspective as well, like, the amount of like the capacity we have just in terms of like minutes of video that we can edit per day.
Yeah, no, it is it's definitely very, very long. I think by what we would consider normal kind of word count to length ratio, we're looking at about, if you're a little bit more slow and deliberate in delivery, you're looking at about 25 minutes at the minute, maybe 25 to 30 minutes. And there's a substantial amount of stuff I haven't added yet. So basically you've got the choice. Do you want to do 2 25-minute videos or like an hour-long one? I'll see what I can do, but it's definitely long.
It's the sort of thing where, like, if we split it into 2, then we're able to, like, I mean, it depends, because we have to do what's best for the story, but I think it seems like in your head there is like a part 1, part 2 where the split makes sense. Yeah. And that does mean that we can get the part 1 out to you sooner, which is probably ideal, assuming it works as a standalone, and it seems like it will.
Yeah.
So
see about that over the next couple of days, but yeah.
Nice. It's been interesting. I think you guys really find the boosting work that the guys have been doing to be fascinating, because I certainly have. Whenever I've been, whenever I've been filled in on what's been going on, I've checked out the research docs and stuff. It's fucking cool. It's also nice that now we have a little bit more time to do. I'm not going to say, it's biting journalism, but it's a little bit of investigation, bit of research, bit of talking to people, finding out what's up, learning those perspectives that you don't get as an onlooker to a scene.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's basically the thing. There are two distinct ways I could have went into, some sort of boosting video. And number one would have been just to throw, have a discussion with you, have a discussion with Dakor, throw our sort of combined opinion and thought into script, off we go, with surface level sort of research. But instead, we've been, thanks to how, everyone supports us, we've got the time to do it properly. So I do have, people important and knowledgeable in the scene. I can take a couple of hours out of the day to talk to them, get, work out some stuff with them, figure it, ask them a bunch of questions, get official statements in return, work through them all in the video. So it's, instead of it being, here's an opinion piece, it's closer to an actual investigation in the story. I mean, it's not some
we have commissioned a full comprehensive investigation. We have built an investigative committee to look into the feasibility of research. No, it's not that, but it is a bit closer to that than we usually are able to do, which is cool and way more satisfying than just being like, boys and dear everyone, I've seen so many boosting posts in the group finder and that makes me angry. Which, we could have done, and it might have done okay, but we could also take 15 times as long and do the job properly and actually be able to surface some information that you guys might actually find to be, novel and stuff you maybe didn't know, which is totally what we want to do. Yep. So
I've definitely got at least this to say. No matter what your take or experience with boosting will be, there will be something in it that will surprise you, for sure.
See, I don't even look. I don't know what the something is. He's clickbaiting me as well, bastard man.
Yep.